The B-21 Raider bomber exposed America's most advanced stealth weapon. The U.S. Air Force is hoping to see a second pre-production B-21 Raider stealth bomber take to the skies before the end of the year. The service also says it has conducted 4 more flight tests of the AGM-181A long-range standoff (LRSO) cruise missile, which will be a key nuclear weapon for the B-21 so far this year. Air Force Lieutenant General Andrew Gabara, Deputy Chief of Staff for Strategic Deterrence and Nuclear Integration, provided updates on the B-21 program and other topics today during a virtual talk hosted by the Air and Space Forces Association's Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies. So this is an event-based process, based on the test team, the contractor, and the program office. I believe it, the first flight of the second B-21 will happen by the end of the year, but we're not going to ever give them an artificial date that they have to make if it doesn't bring the test program along to where they need to be, Gabara said. We're going to proceed as we can, efficiently, effectively, and with a sense of urgency, but we're also going to be event-based. The first pre-production B-21 Raider. That's really been the secret sauce to the B-21 right now, is no undue pressures. Let them do what they're doing, and they'll get us the world's best aircraft here, Gabara added. In July, Air Force General Thomas Bussière, head of Air Force Global Strike Command, FSC, had told Air and Space Forces magazine that the second B-21 could take to the skies shortly. The service had previously told that outlet that its goal was for 2 B-21s to be flying in 2026. The first of 6 pre-production B-21s made its maiden flight in November 2023. As of September 2024, the bomber was said to be flying around 2 sorties every week from Edwards Air Force Base in California in support of ongoing testing. The B-21's manufacturer, Northrop Grumman, has also delivered 2 non-flying airframes to help with the test campaign. As of January, Northrop Grumman had received 2 contracts for low-rate initial production of additional B-21s as well. The B-21 program is producing its results-oriented in-flight tests basically on time, and basically on budget, General Gabara added in his remarks today. U.S. military officials and members of Congress have described the Raider as a model acquisition program for years now. The Air Force's goal is to begin flying B-21s operationally before the end of the decade. When asked today about the expected size of the B-21 fleet, General Gabara said that work is still ongoing to reach a firm number. The Air Force's stated plan now is to acquire at least 100 Raiders, but that figure is widely expected to grow. Congress notably included $4.5 billion in funding to help accelerate B-21 production in a reconciliation funding bill, also known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, signed into law in July. The Pentagon is asking for billions more to support the Raider program in its 2026 fiscal year budget request. I think the work you've seen from the Congress to get us those additional funding, tells me a couple things that are very important. One is, it's going to go a long ways to be able to help us facilitize and get to the point where we can build this thing at scale, Gabara said. I think the other piece to it, though, is it's an absolute show of confidence by the Congress that we're on the right track on this program. We've done a lot of work to hold changes to the minimum to allow the program office and the contractor to get after it, and it's paying dividends. The final B-21 fleet numbers will absolutely be reliant on the work STRATCOM, U.S. Strategic Command, is doing on what is sufficient, Gabara added. But it's important to remember this is also the backbone of our conventional force. And so we aren't building out B-21 numbers only for our nuclear triad. We're also building it out for our long-range, conventional strike capability. And so all that will go into it. Gabara's latter points here are directly in line with comments from Air Force Major General Jason Armagost at a separate Mitchell Institute virtual talk earlier this month. Armagost, who is commander of the 8th Air Force, which oversees all of the Air Force's current bomber fleets, spoke at length about the new operational possibilities that will come from having a substantial number of B-21s, particularly in light of the silver bullet nature of the current B-2 force. The Air Force has just 19 B-2s, not all of which are ever available for taskings, conventional or nuclear, at any one time. This inherently imposes limitations, which the B-21 is not expected to be burdened with, despite being a smaller aircraft with less ordnance capacity per bomber, as you can read more about in detail here. A B-2 bomber drops a load of conventional bombs during a test. Our bomber force right now is optimized for raids and small-scale, a few nights at a time type operations. General Gebra said today, something that was highlighted by the Operation Midnight Hammer strikes on nuclear sites in Iran in June. There's no guarantee that'll be the case in the future. Remarkably, for a large weapons program, the B-21 has come in on time and reportedly within the $25.1 billion budget the U.S. Air Force allocated it in 2010. Northrop Grumman, which has been developing the bomber, appears to have learned from lessons that befell previous high-profile programs like the F-35 and the B-2 bombers. The 34-year-old B-2 Spirit was a generation ahead of its time. The advanced materials coating the aircraft, combined with the shape of the airframe and engine inlets, meant its radar signature was minute, rendering it virtually invisible to radar. This allowed the aircraft to conduct long-range strike missions in highly defended areas with a good chance of surviving the mission, something other bombers, like the B-1 and the venerable B-52, would have little chance of succeeding at. Undetected, the B-2 can already destroy high-value targets deep in enemy territory with little to no warning. So what makes its successor, the B-21, so special? More of the same? The program has been highly classified and Northrop Grumman has released few details about the project, but some information has trickled out in published reports. Advertisement. The B-21 Raider clearly draws a lot of its designs from its predecessor, such as the flying wing concept with its engines embedded and configured to efficiently reduce its radar signature. The airframe is slightly smaller than the B-2. Its payload, the amount of ordnance, bombs and missiles it can carry, is almost halved. It is not particularly fast, designed to fly at high subsonic speeds, and it is not the quantum leap the B-2 stealth bomber was when it was first introduced in 1988. It is, however, significantly cheaper, both to buy and maintain. The B-2 was horrendously expensive to keep airworthy, and the B-21 will greatly lower the toll in money and man-hours needed in its upkeep. Cheaper planes are more likely to be bought in higher numbers. 100 aircraft have initially been slated for production, with that figure likely to rise if costs can be kept down. What's new? While stealth is a chief attribute, it is by no means the B-21's only quality. What the Air Force and the U.S. military as a whole have been working to build is a powerful, distributed network of long-range sensors and strike platforms that transmit and share vast amounts of data about the enemy they are fighting.